Okay, so we have to evaluate 2n plus 1 c0 plus 2n plus 1 c1 plus 2n plus 1 c2 all the way till 2n plus 1 cn. So call this thing as s, like s equals to 2n plus 1 c0 all the way till 2n plus 1 cn. And then what can we do? Well, we can actually write s in another way. So c0, that's the same thing as 2n plus 1 c 2n plus 1, and then c1, that's the same thing as 2n plus 1 c 2n, and so on. And then 2n plus 1 cn, that's actually the same thing as 2n plus 1 cn plus 1, right? Because n plus 1, that's actually 2n plus 1. So now what, let's just add them up. So like 2s, that is going to be so 2n plus 1 c0 all the way till 2n plus 1 c, it's supposed to be n plus 1, right? So c2n plus 1. Okay, so we go like this. Yeah, that makes sense. So like that's supposed to be equal to 2 power 2n plus 1. So that's gonna give me s is equals to 2 power 2n. That's it. This should be equal to 2 power 2n. Okay, so what about the next one? So we have to evaluate this thing. It's actually really weird. So it's like an AP multiplied by this um binomial coefficient stuff, and that too it's actually alternate. So it's alternate positive negative. Yeah, so first of all, I'll just take that a common, right? That's gonna be nc0 minus nc1 and so on. We know this series actually turns out to be 0 because like when you put the value of x as -1 in 1 plus x power n and like uh, generate the series for that thing, it's supposed to be that nc0 minus nc1 thing. So that's gonna be 0 for sure, we know that. And what else? So like you got that d stuff, so it's supposed to be let's just take that common, so minus d, well, no, not minus d exactly. Let's just take that d common, so d, and then it's supposed to be minus 1 into nc1 positive 2 into nc2. Now this looks like a derivative question, right? And then it's supposed to be minus 3 nc3 and so on, right? This looks a little more like a derivative question. Maybe it's not. Yeah, so whatever. It's like this thing can be written as negative d nc1 minus 2 into nc2 positive 3 nc3 and so on. So now what we can do is that we can write it as minus d into n, and then nc1 is like n upon 1 into n minus 1 c0. um yeah, so it's supposed to be n minus 1 c0 minus n minus 1 c1, okay, plus n minus 1 c, I think 2 and so on. So like eventually you will get something like negative 1 power n minus 1. I don't know what that is going to be. And then you get that n common, and what is this thing? So ncn, right? Yeah, and then n over there, so it's supposed to be n minus 1 c n minus 1, right? So like finally the last term will be something like this. Actually, we don't even care about the last term, we only care about what happens in the series. So it's supposed to be negative dn, and over here this just turns out to be 0 as well. So this thing into 0, that's it. That's the answer. So evaluate this thing, it turns out to be 0. All right, so I will see you in the next one.